Welcome back to Are You a Fan, where we explore...
We interrupt this normally scheduled show to bring you this breaking news. There is no normal show. We took a break to tidy up some stuff in the studio. So to make up for it, I'm here with d-rael and Joker to talk about some upcoming episodes. We'll also go over the previous shows to reveal some of the inner workings and feelings of our past and going into the future. So, hi gentlemen. I'm the producer.
It was the one you keep hearing about.
Yeah, I'm the guy behind the scenes that no one gets to hear, so hi.
Our little off-screen god.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Welcome to our side.
A lot actually being recorded now.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not too sure if I like it, but we'll have to keep going.
Oh, you'll get used to it.
So, yeah, I think it was a much-needed break this week. A lot of things going on in personal life and at the studio, so...
Yeah, a lot of chaos on all our fronts, especially mine.
Yeah. Everybody deserves to take a break. We got 14 episodes in.
Oh, that's more than I told the guy in the car on my way
14
here.
episodes.
I mean,
Well, actually, technically
12.
15. Technically 15, because we got two part 2s we got the part 2 for episode 13.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So as well, that was one episode, quote unquote. It was two.
It's two. You gotta click on two different videos to get the full experience.
Yep. So that means we've been doing this for 6 months now.
Holy cow.
Especially when you think about the first half of it were bi-weekly.
Yeah.
So
And we upped it to weekly. It's impressive. 6 months. Not bad.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 6 months. I can't do math, so
It's somewhere around there. We started somewhere around February, March.
Yeah, so it's been a long journey, and it's been a long and fun one. A lot of things that we figured out about ourselves and about the show.
Definitely a learning process on our end.
When was Black History Month? That was when we started.
Oh, I can't tell you.
Wow.
This
is
Dude,
great.
I don't even know when my people's month is, so
You guys have a month?
Yeah, we do actually. They don't teach you that in school.
They don't teach us nothing in school, especially now.
February. It is in February, so we started February.
Yep, because that was our first episode with Black Panther.
Black
Holy
Panther. So much uncertainties that we had in what we were doing and how to do things. That was a rough start.
We still kind of have some.
Right?
Well, that's the fun.
We've just started to own it now. We're just like, if we mess up, we mess up. Let's go.
We've accepted it's there.
Yeah, and I think that's what adds the fun flair to the show. 3 bumbling fools trying to trip over themselves to make something entertaining.
I honestly think it makes it work. That's kind of just our core personality. So
Yeah, we are sure bumbling.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll have a set flow and it'll work out for the better. But maybe not.
Makes us unique.
Yeah.
Gives us a little bit of a flavor.
So that brings me into my first question for you two gentlemen. When we first started the series, how did you feel about how things were going? What was your biggest fear and one thing you disliked the most?
Biggest fear, probably the fact that anytime I've ever attempted anything like this, is never gone anywhere. But I've also never had people to really keep me on track, and we've also never had money.
Yeah, biggest fear definitely has to be I was kind of afraid that we'd just fall off right after we started.
Yeah, just
or within a couple of weeks.
be like no follow through of that, which has been a problem of mine in the past. So, but luckily, we all kind of help balance each other out in this group. So,
Thank God.
Yeah, it's a weird trifecta that happens to work.
yeah. Thing I think I don't like is, or didn't like at the beginning. Didn't like at the beginning. It was more of the uncertainty, I guess. Also, just having to learn how to get onto a schedule, get the work done, and just
That we're still struggling with.
yeah, still struggling with. I mean, for those of you out there who probably realize I have ADHD, so it is
I think that's come up a few times in previous episodes.
I work well under pressure, which is why I generally get stuff done 2 days beforehand.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, this is just the right amount of pressure to turn this lump of coal into a diamond.
I was talking about 2 days.
Yeah, there's been a few times where it's the day of.
Yep. Same here.
So it's usually the day
Published the day
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on getting better about it, but this week was kind of a drop the ball on my part.
Yeah, that's all right. Joker, what do you got to add to that?
Honestly, not a whole lot of different.
Yeah.
I mean, we all share a lot of the same sentiment about how this started, and I mean, really, we only had that one big fear of we ain't gonna keep going. We're gonna stop in a couple weeks in, and
Yeah. Also, there is because we tell ourselves we're prepared for this not to take off immediately because you have to be. We're not known. We're not some fake. We're not Kevin Smith doing this. We're three unknowns. d-rael. Nobody knows who d-rael is. But it was the fear of us going into it and then seeing that and then giving up because it became a reality of like, oh, we're not just going to take off.
Oh, nobody cares about these.
Yeah,
two
nobody
randos.
cares. But ultimately, it's going to take time, and luckily we all kept each other. We all held on to each other basically and kept each other like grounded
we're staying afloat somehow.
somehow.
Because we know this is just a passion project right now. Like, this
Right.
is something we're doing for fun.
True. That did help.
That eventually, hopefully, we'll have income.
Maybe 5 years from now we got enough support.
Hopefully. I mean, who knows? I'm up to 1,500 on TikTok. We might get, my TikTok fam, give me a shout on this episode.
Hey. So, brings me to my next one. So where we sit right now on the show, we're 14, 15 episodes in. It's been months. How do you feel currently about the show? Do you still have that same fear? And has your dislike changed?
Do not have the same fear.
I do. I know us.
True. Chris is, of course, I gotta say, Joker is more of the realist, grounded one in our group.
And I know our personalities, so I still have a slight fear that we're going to drop off here shortly.
We're just
Which is
waiting for the
arguably-
lazy day to happen. We take our season break and then we never get back into
Well, I
it.
don't think we need the season break anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree with the no season break. A week break was good, but arguably, love that you had us do this because I think if we had just fully not done anything this week, it would have been detrimental.
Yeah, I had to
It hurt.
keep us working on something and
Which-
keep the spirits up.
Completely smart. That's why, like, when you ask, like, can you make it? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna force myself to because I need to stay on task.
Yo,
Uh,
keep that rhythm.
So as far as fears, not the same fears for me personally, but I also get caught up in my own shit. I drink my Kool-Aid.
So what's your fear now of the show? Do you have a fear?
Not really, because we are just doing this for fun. Like, as far as, like, intrusive thoughts aside, like, I don't really have a legitimate fear, because we're just doing this for fun, and there's no real fear of failure if this is just literally us enjoying and, like, we enjoy BSing about comic characters and fictional characters anyway, so why not record it and throw it into the world?
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
teach-
sure there's some people out there that'll have the same viewpoints on stuff as we do and will join the following.
and we'll-
Exactly.
and we'll teach people things along the way.
Yeah, and arguably, I'm not even afraid about getting certain facts wrong in that because I know there's people out there that know these comics even better than I do. And if they call us out, all that is just
It's a learning opportunity.
exactly something that we can come back to in a later episode and be like, hey, we were wrong on this. We're doing a new episode with new information.
Yeah, there you go. What about you, Joker? Anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, again, I just know us. I still have the slight fear of a couple months from now, we'll drop off and
Chris, that's why we need you, though.
Yeah,
you keep us grounded and on track because you know us.
You're the unspoken manager of the group.
yeah, because I have to especially keep you in line of not getting too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a fun one.
Chris, Joker here does a lot of wrangling on our parts.
He's the cow wrangler.
Yeah, basically. Which we need. We need.
So I think he just called you fat. He just called you a cow.
He's calling himself fat too, so I accept that. I'll accept a kamikaze insult.
I think that's an anthem
self-burn,
effect
that's
right
rare.
there.
Fire. I don't care how big the room is. I cast fireball.
Forget everything in this room. It will cease to exist.
But as far as things I don't like, Nothing really to say at the moment. Just, I mean, I don't like the fact that we're not, making money yet, but that's just life in general. So
Yeah.
It's the story of 3 broke hoes.
yeah,
Yeah. Some a little more broke than others.
Yeah.
yep. I'm coming back though. I'm working my way
Yep.
downtown.
So, with all that said, our fears have become less, and our dislikes have kind of nullified. Where do you think the future of the show will go, and what does it have to hold for us and then the audience?
I mean, for us at least, it really just, there is no limit to what we can do.
Yeah.
Because, in all honesty, there will always be characters we can cover.
Yep,
Never a shortage.
we have an infinite supply of characters, not just from movies, but
We may drastically run into more and more unknown characters, per se.
the niche characters. I think will be more fun.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I had a blast doing Killer Croc, honestly.
Yeah, Killer Croc was pretty cool.
Probably one of my favorite ones that we've done.
I feel like our real niche ones so far have been Mortal Kombat.
That's still
Because
our
as-
best episode.
Yeah.
Raiden is still our best episode right
And it
now.
was our most depressing, I think.
No, at least on our side. I've heard actually a lot of good things about it from others that have listened, but from our end, it was not a good
Yeah,
episode.
okay, with that said, though, it might be worth revisiting the episode and try to come at it with a fresh perspective.
I'll have to re-listen to that whole one again. And that, yeah, I'll listen to it. I'll try to pretend I'm not depressed about it. But as far as where this is going, honestly, because ultimately the goal, it's fun, everything, but ultimately like to make money on it so we can fund other aspects of Moonbound.
Oh, we have a
And,
lot of big projects.
like,
in
Especially for this to be our full-time job.
Yeah, because right now, honestly, we don't really need a lot of money to do other podcast type episodes. But to do an actual film sketch, I would love to be able to do some sketches with us as actual characters in the sketches. I got a lot of dumb ideas that are funny.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
The slug bug. I still love the slug bug idea. Yeah, but yeah, no real, as far as the audience, more engagement. I'd like more engagement on the audience side.
What can they expect from the show going in the future, though?
What can they expect? Well, if we keep on the current track, it might be a while, but expect more variety, I guess.
Yeah.
Not just a superhero podcast show, but maybe some sketches, maybe some other skits, maybe some other podcasts about different ideas, maybe even, heck, I'm scared to say this because this would be a very long off way in that, but maybe a collaboration with other groups.
Other podcasters, other YouTubers.
I would
maybe
love to work
celebrities
with
one
another
day.
YouTuber or get a celebrity on. Yeah, heck yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
It'd be really cool.
So, we'll give a sneak peek into what we're planning here in the future in a short moment. We're going to go over some other stuff real quick. Joker, you want to share with the audience what kind of episodes we have lined up, who we're going to be going over?
So our current order, the one that was actually supposed to take place this week, that we're not recording for obvious reasons, we're continuing along the line of villains, and we're moving over to Marvel. We were going to cover Bullseye, another kind of quieter niche villain that kind of fit in line with Killer Croc, not going to overshadow him.
Really? Okay.
Then we didn't want to do one of the big bads of the Marvel universe that is kind of being used up right now by Disney.
Yeah. I mean, arguably, if you go from Killer Croc into say Kang
Heck, Thanos.
or Thanos, then who even cares about Killer Croc?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Where we can't crescendo any further than Kang or Thanos. That's kind of top tier.
Exactly. If we do Kang or Thanos at that point, we'd have to do Doom and
Doom, Darkseid.
Yeah,
there are definitely other tiers on the DC side, but you have to start with them first before you hit the Marvel's top tiers,
Yeah.
or vice versa. You can't go from a kind of a nobody to a god.
Exactly. It just doesn't really fit thematically, I feel.
Okay, so we got Bullseye.
And then-
What are we looking at after that?
And we slightly take that idea and throw it out the window as we go for the big bad of Star Wars in Emperor Palpatine. You know, like the greatest big bad in Star Wars.
I mean, I wouldn't call him he's the most well-known big bad in Star Wars.
Well,
I think he's the biggest bad. He's the biggest bad you'll ever know.
and in a lot of their mediums, he is credited as one of the most powerful Sith, even of the ancient Sith.
I mean, arguably, yeah. I mean, the guy can destroy a Star Destroyer with the Force, so I'm not going to argue with that. But, you know, there's one guy who literally wiped out a planet to gain immortality.
He didn't gain immortality. It was how he stayed alive.
Closest thing to immortality that he could get. Besides the one dude who literally just couldn't die because he was just angry.
Yeah, I mean, you don't death them all.
There's
actually quite a few of those.
One of the greatest story arcs in the Star Wars universe, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Darth
Dude,
Maul.
honestly, most compelling character in my opinion.
Yeah.
I am very excited for that episode to come out.
His pure hatred for Obi-Wan is literally what kept him alive.
Yeah.
And yeah, completely. And I'd say he has one of the best arcs.
You know, I think they missed a joke on episode 1 when they cut him in half and he went down the tube. He should have been like, "Gotta split."
You know, it wouldn't have fit entirely with the tone, but it wouldn't have surprised me if Obi-Wan said that.
It would have for his time at that point in his life. He wasn't as sassy as he became.
I wonder if, like, Obi-Wan's just sitting in a desert and that just popped in his mind. He's like, damn, that would have been awesome. Young me, man. If I could go back.
Man. Yep. Okay, so Palpatine, followed by who's next in order?
We decided to go for pure chaos and not touching good or evil hero, villain. Didn't matter.
And we decided to go for Deadpool, the true chaotic neutral.
Deadpool. Wouldn't that be amazing if we could have Ryan Reynolds on the show and talk to him about Deadpool?
Yeah, we could still. We may be small, but we could still email him and see if we can get him to do it.
I mean, you know what? Why not? Why?
The worst thing that's going to happen is he's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
But knowing Reynolds, I could still kind of see him at least responding somewhat.
That's going to have to be a hell of well-structured show if we're going to have Ryan Reynolds.
Well, it'd be one that we'd probably just have to ask him to, like, record sound bits of things he wants to say or kind of jokes to our intro or something.
And we're assuming at that point that he would even
acknowledge our existence.
Because it's not even the fact that I think Ryan Reynolds is a decent enough down to earth guy that if he saw our email, he'd at least give a response of a yes or no. It's the fact of how many emails is this guy getting from fans a day?
Oh yeah,
that's more of my concern of like the fact that he wouldn't even see our email.
Honestly, that is the most likely.
Like 1 year from now, we get a response. I just open up my email. It's like Ryan Reynolds. What did I email? Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Oh,
you know, if
Ryan Reynolds.
Even if he responded a year later, I would be down to redo an episode or a second episode.
Oh, yeah, completely redo.
You're down the road when we've evolved further as a show and as a group.
We could do a Green Lantern episode. He can make fun of it.
Oh, he's got to wear the green tights. He's got to wear the green tights.
Well, as long as it's not animated.
Okay, so Bullseye, Palpatine, Deadpool. And let's round off with the fourth one so we can give him a taste for the month.
We don't even have an idea of the fourth one.
Oh, we don't?
No, we've only done so far 3 at a time because we don't really need to go that far into advance yet.
Well, I kind of dropped the ball on that one. My bad.
I mean, if anybody's got a suggestion.
Oh, yeah.
We take requests, folks.
It's kind of how a couple of our characters have already hit the table.
Yeah, what we get? Question. That was a complete.
Question, Raiden, Killer Croc.
At
least 3 of our 15 episodes
Punisher.
have been.
Punisher was a request.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's 4.
Yep.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, folks of all different creeds out there, we take requests.
Yeah. Just to put on what d-rael over here is saying, welcome to come to our Facebook and leave some suggestions or find d-rael on TikTok and
either way, just get it to us so we know that you're interested and we know where we're going. Because ultimately, if it's up to us and that, you will start seeing some obscure characters. years.
Yeah, some very
In time.
In time.
back of the woods.
That's what I've been trying
kinda.
to keep you guys away from, at least for now.
Yeah, probably a good call. Probably a good call. But yeah, so let's see what happens. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing an episode on Eminem maybe sometime in the future, since he is technically a Marvel character.
Yep, that'd be something. All right, so that's our little sneak peek for the month coming up, the characters to be. So hopefully this week or next week we'll start getting work done on that, and episodes will roll out like normal. So now we're going to go to a little behind the scenes kind of stuff. So our process here, we have a little powwow. We figure out who we want to talk about for the next episode. In this case, we have Bullseye coming up next.
Yep.
Share with the audience what it is that you do from the time that we figure out who we're going to do to the time that we record. What is everything you do in between?
So one of the things I do is I check my comic book collection, which is not much right now because the comics I have with me pale in comparison to the ones that are hidden somewhere in my mom's storage unit. But if I have material on the character, I figure I look there. Otherwise, I find a movie or a show with the character that I think they portrayed him well in, and I watch it to see how close to the original and the source material it is. And then I go online and I cross-reference between Wikipedia, the fandom, and the actual Marvel page.
Marvel or Detective
DC,
Comics.
or whoever.
Or DC, or whoever the official creator is. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and children out there in school that have to do reports, Wikipedia is a crowdsourcing system. Is dictated and made by people, some of which don't have the right to dictate and provide information.
But that's where the crowdsourcing comes into play. It's like open source. Everybody gets to collectively work on it.
Yep, but that's why you always cross-reference it with the original material. Wikipedia's good place is good and concise. Like, it gives you a good timeline. It's a solid place to find the info, but always check the source material. Always, like, I check a lot of source material. Joker here checks a lot of my source material and has actually saved my ass on a few occasions.
Yep.
Yeah, that is half my job. On
Isn't
top
that-
of the spell checking.
It's funny how that translates from the way we play games with each other, too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a spray and pray, go in there like, ah! Chris is just getting my back, picking me back up, like, there you go, buddy. I'm just like, I'm going to run back in. It's like, okay.
Give it 5 minutes, I'll come pick you up again.
Yeah. But that's how I do it. What about you, Joker?
Well, I mean, so far, at least the Star Wars ones, I've had to kind of start weeks in advance. Because there's a lot that goes into those.
Oh, my God, there was so much you had
But
on.
I ended up actually usually rewatching any of the movies that have that character in it. So with Luke, I ended up watching, 6 movies? At least.
7.
Only 6.
Episode 9.
It's honestly,
3 through 9, that's 6. Because I don't really count episode 3 because he's a baby. I don't really count for nothing. And he's only in there for 10 minutes tops?
Yep.
shift that. But yeah.
But most of the time, if it's not an episode that I'm spearheading, I wait until I get the info from you, usually the day before,
Yeah.
if not the day of.
I need to get better about that.
And yeah, I spend however many hours it takes to cross-reference your info and do my own little bit of research so I have an idea what I'm talking about.
Which generally, on my end, my bad, it is sometimes a hit and miss. I legitimately believed that was all there was.
That's been the only bad one so far.
Punisher. Because sometimes I will send you a concise, a lot of information, and just be like, Chris, I don't know what else. I don't really know what else to add to this that's prudent, because some characters have a lot of info on them, but it's a question of what actually matters, to bring up.
That's what I ran into with Star Wars. Because I'm having that problem already with Palpatine.
It's such a saturation of information.
Yeah,
you don't know
there's
what's
so
relevant.
much.
Yeah.
Especially when you touch their Legends lore. It's there is way too much info.
And yeah, like you said, it's what actually pertains, what's important, what should we bring into this.
What's important enough to capture someone's attention to bring to the show?
Exactly.
Because if we were to make a podcast over the entire history of Luke and his canons, that probably would have been a 4-hour-long episode. No one's going to listen to a 4-hour-long podcast.
I don't even think it would have been 4 hours. I think it would have been like double that.
8, yeah, think so?
Well, you gotta remember that character alone's got 40 years of history.
Yeah.
That's true.
30-something of it being legends alone.
Honestly, I gotta say the Killer Croc one was our most concise as far as like the info we could get online from the character.
Him and the question.
Him and the question, yeah.
Just because there's nothing to the question. Oh, Static Shock too.
Static Shock.
Because a lot of those smaller characters that didn't have a lot of history to them or a lot of info that was hidden.
True. I mean, I'm sure there's with some of these characters. The problem is with some of these characters, and like we've said at the beginning of this whole interview, we're poor. I can't afford to go to the comic store and say, give me every comic you have on Killer Croc.
Heck, even just asking for a handful of them
Yeah.
would
Comic
still
books are
cost
what,
us way more than we could
$20 a
afford.
comic book.
To get the
Ish.
graphic novel, yeah. It's about $20 to $25 for graphic novels. A bit cheaper than that if you're going, just the regular one-issue comics.
Unless
that
you're
all-
going to collectors.
And that all depends on
Yep.
who you're looking at and what comics you're looking at.
Is it a mint condition? Is that the only kind available?
Is it a special art cover?
Like it gets. And honestly, I wish I had. That's one thing I wish I had. I wish I had the money to buy the comics to literally forget the research online. If I had the money to literally just buy the comics and read them myself, that's how I would do the research.
The original
Besides,
source material.
Besides the real world aspects, I would still have to go online to figure out, like the fact that Wonder Woman's creator literally invented the polygraph.
Yeah.
Like that's something I wouldn't find out in the comics. That's something I'd have to figure out online.
Yep.
But as far as the characters themselves, it'd be nice to have the comics. Also, I enjoy reading them, so.
I like picture books too.
Yeah, sometimes I'm pretty sure that's the only way he can read.
It literally kind of is.
It's got pictures.
Definitely helps with the dyslexia. It makes my brain not hurt.
Context clues.
So you guys do your research. You do your proofreading, your editing. You make the story, the script more concise, flow better, make more sense. Then recording day happens.
Yeah, then at least some of us wake up way too early to do the recordings.
Yep.
I'm so glad we pushed back the time on that, though.
That was so hard.
Well, for you, it was nearly impossible.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
So recording day, we spend a good 2.5, 3 hours here, studio,
Three at
recording.
most.
Three at most.
And that's including all the BSing at the end with
Yep.
trying to figure out who's next in the line or who's that third person going to be in the line.
And then
Yep.
whatever else we're trying to catch up on during that week. And that, so I'd say, pretty. I do enjoy the recordings. I'm glad we did push it back, though, because
yeah.
it was getting to a point where I'm just like, I'm sitting here with Chris. I'm like, I could have made $20.
Where's this hoe at? Wake up, boy. So after the recording, then I walk off. I disappear to my little dungeon, and I'll do the editing. I'll do my first pass, and I'll do a hot take for you guys to listen to. And you guys say yay or nay, or often, what the fuck is this in here for?
That's mostly been me lately.
It has also, whatever you sent us the last,
Yeah,
not
you need
this
to
one.
do it through the Google Drive again.
Yeah.
Because that way we can go back and forth.
There's been a couple times I've signed off and said okay because something happened that took me out of Messenger,
And Messenger's just being dumb.
and I'm 2/3 through, and I'm like, I'm not trying to reel it.
Yeah, with Messenger, you can't fast forward at all. You can't go backwards. So once you start it, you have to finish it.
All right, I'll make that a no.
So yeah,
In the
if you-
Google one, I finished that whole thing because I was able to come back to it when my phone got interrupted or anything, and I literally fast forward.
that and it made it so much easier to find your cutoff points for you.
Oh yeah.
Good. All
That's
right.
why, like when I sent that one the other day, I was like, it's somewhere around here because I can't give you the times. I'm not because at that point it was what 20-something minutes in. I'm like, I'm not listening to
Yeah,
that whole
okay.
thing again for that.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to Google Drive because that just makes more sense.
And I think I also generally listen to each episode after it fully comes out, just because I'm curious to listen to the final product.
Oh yeah,
Which-
that's always the fun part too.
Oh yeah, which so far I've enjoyed each one. So
You are a statistic.
I am.
He's something.
It adds something.
Okay, so then, get the first pass, go ahead, finish the second pass, tidy up any little bits and bobs that need to be done, add in the intro and the outro, and then the music, which I've learned how to do little electro drummer dude and garage band so we don't have to find royalty-free music right now.
Which sounds good, honestly. Also, for those of you from my D&D TikTok out there, this is the guy I was talking about as to why we don't actually have any art on our thing, because he has conviction and is willing and actually wants to pay the artists if we use it.
Yeah.
That was a point of contention on TikTok lately. So
Always credit the artists,
yep.
no matter how big or small they are.
And so, yeah, that's one thing I like that you do, though, that we aren't just willy-nilly slapping art on there and that without, crediting the artists.
Yeah. So
That's
then,
good.
then after all that good stuff, we upload it, schedule it for Wednesday, 6 o'clock in the morning Mountain Time, and then we start the whole process all over again.
Yeah.
The day we publish is the day we record.
As far as, during the recordings, though, I gotta tell you, because I do enjoy them. However, I do crack up how off-topic sometimes we can get.
It's a riot. It
can be.
when we start releasing the raw, unedited files for people to enjoy, they're gonna realize how much of a mess this show really is.
I was talking,
it is a mess.
talking to somebody about that. I'm like, honestly, it sucks because I'll bring up, we'll bring up a villain or a side character of this character who one of us might know or something. It's like, oh yeah, because they did this, and then we end up 5 characters later. We're like, so this character has no association with our topic.
How did we get here?
Why are we
Yeah.
discussing this?
Well,
That's
that's
disgusting.
where the editing comes in. Makes people think that we're not so much of a fool. And we kind of know what we're doing.
Kind of require that editing for that. A lot goes into that editing, I imagine.
It's fun. I can make you say some stupid stuff.
I've noticed.
Yeah, we do a lot of ramblings.
But
We
that,
do.
yeah, that's where that podcast editing comes in. So it makes it more streamlined for our podcast listeners. So it's a little more enjoyable.
Which I still think that's a great idea that me and you discussed about, which somebody suggested a name, d-rael podcast, because the conversation gets derailed.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that podcast of us on the couch or just a couple of us just whatever's coming to mind talking about. I still like that idea.
We'll talk about more of that here in just a minute too. So.
Ooh, okay.
So that's kind of just our behind-the-scenes sneak peek at how we do things right now with the podcasts. And it'll probably stay like that for the foreseeable future until we have to make a drastic change to make things work better. So, yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
I
So-
mean, it works well so far, so.
Do we want to talk at all about how we would plan on going into other medias? Or
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's going to segue us into what we, as a studio, Moonbound Productions, have planned for the future. So the Are You the Fan podcast, we're going to expand into other franchises, not just Marvel, not just Detective Comics or Star Wars, but we're also looking into video game franchises and regular movie franchises.
Also wouldn't mind doing, maybe some special episodes on some books.
Oh,
on
yeah.
occasion.
Big book characters, maybe
Like Lord, we got Tolkien's, we got Game of Thrones, we got Wheel of Time.
I want to just stay away from the last season of Game of Thrones. I think we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that'll be the easiest one.
Yeah.
And then not just that though, but we'll also be adding board games like D&D. We could talk about some big Dungeons and Dragon characters, maybe.
Magic the Gathering too.
Yeah, Magic the
That
Gathering.
one
There's some
I
big
want to
lore
do so
ones in
bad
Magic
because
the
that
Gathering.
that whole thing
That's-
for being a card game has some massive lore.
I was gonna say that's definitely Joker's bread and butter as far as the lore in there.
I think
Which it sounds interesting. I would love to get more into it too, but
the video game stuff I'll be more part of because I am a sucker for a good game.
we all kind of have our territories that we know.
So,
Yeah,
so I think
and we're all kind of on that game one too.
Yeah.
so I think the podcast will become more of a trio here in the near future.
Which I'm down. For those of you who don't know, this guy says some funny things off the mics.
Also, some really stupid shit. Thank you. I like to stay
Aye.
off mic.
I mean, stupid can be funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, and that goes into that raw cutting that we put it somewhere else in the future.
Yeah.
They get to hear all the stupid. If they can hear me, they can hear the stupid stuff that I get to say.
About half the time you can.
Yeah.
If you leave it in.
Yep.
Because there have been a couple of those. I'm like, I heard your comment. It probably shouldn't be there. Because it's usually in those parts that I'm like, oh, we should cut this section because it doesn't pertain to nothing.
Yep. So the biggest one that we want to jump into next, we're going to continue the Star Wars arc. We're going to continue with the Star Wars characters just because, again, that is incredibly rich media that we can go into.
Yeah, we can go on forever.
Much. But then what would be, in your minds, kind of the direction we take after that? Would it be Magic? Would it be Dungeons & Dragons? Would it be some video game characters instead?
I feel video games... Okay. It may be me talking in a safer route because video games being a much more prevalent thing in the world, especially right now. After the pandemic last year, and a lot more people got into them. That might be a little better than, say, going into, that or like D&D and Magic. It's like, well, they have their large groups as well and their followings.
They are growing in their followings too, which is absolutely surprising.
Oh yeah, it is awesome. Because it's not a bad thing to be a nerd no more.
Yeah,
right?
Nerds unite.
Oh, yeah,
Look at the power.
The meek will inherit the earth.
Yeah, I would definitely like to either push into Magic or games.
Yeah. I think Magic would be fun.
That one I want to do so bad.
The Magic one, because we'll have actual lore to go behind.
Yep.
Video game ones we're going to have to figure out on a studio and in-world standpoint.
So a lot of the Magic one would be very similar to what our format right now is for Star Wars.
Yeah.
It would just work. It's just a plug-in that we can just start and run.
Yep.
We don't really have to alter much. Definitely with the video games, depending on which character we're going with, it is mostly going to be a lot of real-world stuff that we bring in there.
Some of them ain't going to be any real-world stuff.
If we do go over video game history or video games, we could go back decades to the start of video games and how it's literally paved the way for the world.
Yeah. No, I mean, ultimately, we got to admit, Pong was a revolutionary concept.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We start with Pong. Now I think we got things like Halo and Call of Duty, Skyrim. All these games are so far advanced compared to what we started with in the gaming industry.
Yep.
But you ever notice how we sometimes go back? Because tell me that the lightsaber cutting box one doesn't just slightly remind you of Pong in a weird way.
Oh, dude, Beat Saber?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me more of Alien Invaders. Or Space Invaders.
Yeah, I remember that game. Holy cow.
Yep.
That's a good callback.
So
I actually just saw a Space Invaders game at an arcade up in Maine.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it
still
blew my
got
mind. On the fact that there was an arcade was amazing.
I know.
But they legit had a Space Invaders game in there.
That's
It was
fantastic.
awesome.
Dude.
That makes me want to.
I'm kind of mad I didn't play it, to be honest.
That makes me want to fire up the emulator and play some Space Invaders. Speaking of,
Heck, I'm sure you probably can get that on your phone.
oh, absolutely. All right, so that's kind of the direction that we're thinking with Are You a Fan? It's going to have a very rich, colorful future of many different archetypes and characters that we can go over. And, of course, fan suggestions will always take priority. So, always leave your comments in the, comments or on TikTok or Facebook.
And let us know, maybe you know a creator, maybe even personally, that you wouldn't mind sending our way to collaborate with us.
Yeah, that would be incredible. So, other than Are You a Fan? Moonbound Productions has got a couple of ideas for the future because we are actually technically partnered with Bloodfest Chicken.
Ah, yep.
So Bloodfest Chicken and Moonbound has some really cool video skit ideas that we'll be doing in the future when we get the equipments and the software. We got some other show ideas that are going to be podcast based. We are planning on doing video podcasting for Are You a Fan in the future once we get the equipment we need.
That'll be a ways off, but I like that idea still. I still stand by it.
Yeah.
Bloodfest Chicken. Now, that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time.
So that's what that vein almost popping out of the side of your head was for.
Yeah, me coming up with an Obi-Wan
I kept looking over. I'm like, Joker looks like he's gonna have a stroke. What's happening?
Okay. So, video podcasts for Are You a Fan? I think that'll be a cool way because that'll be more relevant on YouTube space.
Very much so. They
gonna-
tend to do quite well, but still the podcast aspect. Because for those of us who don't want to download apps or pay for subscriptions to certain things, YouTube's a great way for us
YouTube
to
makes
listen.
life easy.
It does.
So then on top of that, we are going to have another show. The name is to be determined, but it's going to be d-raeled or Dick's
Yep.
All Natural or something
I don't know
else.
about that last name.
Hey, I think it'll be fantastic. And it's just going to be a talk show with Dick
I guess
Rael.
that'll be just kind of a random talk show. So I guess Dick's All Natural will be okay.
Yeah, it's just a natural
my name.
conversating show.
Yeah, it's a show where I, Dick Rael, have just a natural conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
Just, Dick's having a natural talk.
And it'll just be all natural, mostly unedited, raw show for everybody to enjoy our idiocracy that
As long
happens
as
in the
everything
studio.
stays covered, we're good.
Yep. So I think that'll be fun because that'll help maybe capture some part of your TikTok audience that aren't necessarily D&D fans or comic book fans, or maybe help us find a new audience that's outside of your reach.
True. You never know. I enjoy a lot of different genres and a lot of different aspects in the world. So, I mean, that I think would be a fun show to get random guests on too.
Yep, it's just completely random show. There's no structure, just talking your mind with random guests. Ryan Reynolds. We're not going to talk about Deadpool. No, let's talk about, I don't know, the Rocky Mountains.
Heck, talk about his alcohol company.
Oh shit, that's
Wait,
right.
he has an alcohol company?
Aviation Gin.
That explains that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, so just, random conversations, and we can either make it safe for work, audience approved for all ages, and then we can have a late night show with Dick Rael. Or that's the adult version, so it's like Saturday Night Live, but dumber.
Definitely dumber. I have not gone to college for writing, so these aren't going to be primo sketches. But let's be honest, Saturday Night Live, there's been a few seasons of that show that aren't exactly their best.
Yep. So then we have those ideas in the future, and then we're going to start expanding into video production, which
I love.
is going to be absolutely incredible to be able to do video skits of random ideas, maybe 3 to 5 minute long skits that we can just upload to YouTube because they were fun to make.
And I think that's going to be, when we get there with the money, that's going to be a bread and butter thing for us.
That'll be so much fun.
Because no episodic, no overarching, maybe overarching jokes that pop up randomly, but like just dumb skit ideas we have that we can throw out there and see what sticks. And I think it's a great idea. Also, it's something that each one of us could just bring a script to the table, throw it down, we roll a die and be like, whose script we taking this week?
That and audiences. Maybe the audience can participate heavily with that one. We could
Ooh.
find little gem in the rough writers that are on TikTok or YouTube that leave these really brilliant ideas for us to try out.
It's not a bad idea, actually. And I think what's going to help lead us into that, I still stand by the highs and lows.
Oh, that is going to probably be our crowning jewel. The Highs and Lows is going to be a show where both hosts, Dick and Joker, will be either high and low. Under the influence, being high, and
We'll be inebriated.
We'll be very inebriated.
on legal substances.
on legal substances in the state of
That
Colorado.
is the important thing.
Yep.
It is all 100% legal.
Yep.
Yep.
And the show is going to consist of two gentlemen acting like they know what they're doing film reviews.
I still love
We
it.
don't know that's sober.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still love that concept. Just a drunk and a stoner trying to figure out like having somebody be like, so do you believe that the red shirt in Schindler's List represented the fact that mankind does not pay attention to the folly of itself and its own pains?
Wait, you're telling me there's a red shirt?
What?
Right.
It's like, oh no, bro, wait, that wasn't. Was it supposed to be black and white?
And I think that's going to be the most fun part, is the whole trope of the show plays on the aspect of armchair critics.
Yeah. And that's honestly the concept I designed it behind, was like, because honestly I hate critics most of the time. Because a critic, in my personal opinion, actually can't tell you if a movie's watchable. They'll tell you if it is structurally good for what a movie should be, but that doesn't tell me if I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah, they're disconnected from the audience as a whole, while, like you say, structurally and cinematically, the movie makes sense.
Yeah.
It could be completely disconnected from reality or what the audience actually wants to enjoy.
I mean, look, think of it this way. Anybody listening, and to our editor here, 90% of the movies that win Oscars, do you actually enjoy those movies?
No.
Yeah, no. Most of the time, like Dead of Bones. Anybody out there, go watch Dead of Bones and tell me how angry you get. And tell me why, because I can't explain why I was angry.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to watch something that I know is going to make me angry.
Now, okay, so one of the... Let's see. So I'm taking a look at the list right now for pictures that won Academy Best Picture and a couple other things. Have you watched Soul?
I have not, but I actually heard that one's good and fun.
That was a really enjoyable show.
Like I said, there are a few Oscar winners that are actually fun and enjoyable movies on top of being cinematically good. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That was visually
incredible.
stunning, amazing picture, and it was fun to watch.
Yep.
Though, the first time I watched that, it still bugged me because I thought my TV was screwing up.
Yeah, true.
Until you learn that it was an artistic choice by the
once
creators.
you figure that out about halfway into the movie, you're like, oh, that's on purpose. That's not my TV. Okay, nope, we're good now.
Which I guess that was a legitimate problem in certain theaters that it showed up in.
I believe it.
Like people walking out and being like, hey, we think something's wrong with the projector.
All right, so I'm looking at the list of the actual Oscar-winning or nominated shows, and I really can't see any shows that I would have watched.
Yeah. There are, like, the certain movies and the certain categories for them winning. Like, because let's be honest. You know what a horrible series and horrible movies are? The Fast and Furious franchise are absolutely atrocious, but tell me not. They are fun to watch.
They are.
They're entertaining. They get you pumped. Like, they're good, entertaining, fun movies. But they're not good.
Yeah.
They never have been.
They're garbage.
And film theory can prove it with science. They made an episode on it.
What?
I'm looking this up.
Pat made a theory over it and how he could prove it with science, like which one was the best series.
I haven't watched his videos in so long.
You have to watch it. It's fantastic.
I still chime in on occasion and watch his movie ones. But I'm going to have to check that out, definitely. But yeah, no, so that's, I think, going to be a great show. And it's funny because the all-natural dick, I feel like this is roughly what it would be here, this conversation.
Yeah.
Just us randomly being like, oh, wait, did you know about us busting out a laptop and being like, well, what is that?
Yeah, we're going to have a laptop on the side for that show.
Yeah. Definitely. But, yeah, that's, anything else? I think we've given a pretty good idea of our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations.
And then we, like we always do, we rambled on a lot there at the end.
Yep.
We did.
That's the fun part, though. But yeah, we at Are You a Fan and Moonbound Productions, we have, like Dick says, huge dreams and aspirations to make this studio into something big and maybe one day a small name brand that people will recognize.
Yeah. Honestly, the day I can just pay rent with it and buy food with it, I consider that a success.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a mansion. Just, a one-bedroom apartment across the hall from Joker.
With the way apartments are nowadays, it might as well be a mansion.
Yeah, true.
The room across the hall from Joker. I didn't know we were talking about a mental asylum.
I mean,
Give him my track record.
as long as we can still record while we're in there, yeah, we're good.
Just tell them to pull down your mask so you're not muffled in the microphone.
Well, that'd be a pain to do research while you're in there.
Right?
So somebody else would have to take that part for us.
That'd be nuts.
Orderly, my crayon's dead.
My crayon melted. Well,
Okay, you're not a Marine. You're not supposed to eat it.
Aww.
Oh, it's good. But yeah, nah. We good?
Yeah, I think that
So,
kind of
yeah,
wraps it up there.
Wraps it up, Phil.
So, audience, I hope you are a fan of Are You a Fan and where we're
Moonbound
going.
Productions, and yeah, keep riding them rails.
See you later.